This is Twyford Hall, the heart of our community for 80 years. It was built in 1931 and sits on land donated by a generous and community-spirited man called Joseph Twyford. He was born in Merimbula in 1855 and spent all his childhood years growing up in this tiny seaside village. The original committee worked tirelessly to raise enough money to commence construction of the hall. And to expedite the project, it was decided to issue debentures to the local people. This proved to be highly successful, and the debentures were quickly taken up within a couple of days. It's hard to imagine the foresight, tenacity and drive this tiny community had to take on such a huge task. The population was probably 150 people. It was the early years of the Great Depression, and most people would have had very little money. But the townsfolk and Twyford Hall Committee had a dream for their community. It took only 10 months to build the hall, and the official opening was held in December of 1931. It was a grand occasion, with people travelling from all over the district to join in the celebrations. The war years ensued, and many soldiers were treated to fond farewells and welcome home parties. And for many years after that, Anzac services were held at the memorial plaques in front of the hall. It was used as a safe haven for the survivors of the American shipwreck, the William Dawes, and the townsfolk made sure that the men were well cared for with lots of home cooking and warm clothing. During the 50s, Dorothy Gale's ballet classes were attended by almost every girl and one boy in town, and after many rehearsals, the big night of the concert would finally arrive. We were just the ants' pants in our beautiful costumes, tapping our toes off and singing as loud as we possibly could. I don't think any of us turned into budding ballerinas, but we sure had good times. One of my fondest childhood memories is of Santa Claus coming up the lake in a boat. His red suit standing out like a beacon, and his beard blowing freely in the breeze and ringing his bell all the way to the pub jetty. We were almost sick with excitement and fear. And then we escorted him to the hall, where the most beautiful Christmas tree, adorned with presents, was waiting. My sisters always attended the famous Old Year Out and New Year In balls, and I would watch them getting ready for the big night with envy. Why couldn't I go too? Would I ever be old enough? Our local headmaster, Jack Lynch, instigated the famous Bird Call Day, whereby all the schools in the district were asked to choose their best bird callers and then travel to Twyford Hall to compete. The competition was fierce, and our ever-loving and proud parents would sit through the cacophony of kookaburras, magpies, crows, wonga pigeons and turtle doves until the winners were announced. The hall has been, and still is, a venue to house many different community events. It's been a picture theatre, a church, a meeting place, a dance school, an art gallery, a place for craft markets and floral displays. The local schools have held their discos and concerts here, as well as the Cap Drama festivals and plays. The inaugural Merimbula Jazz Festival was held here, and for the past 38 years, it has been the home of Spectrum Theatre Group. Spectrum has always had a close affiliation with the hall, and many Spectrum members have served on the hall's committee since the early 70s. During its history, the committees of the day have expanded and renovated the hall to meet the needs of its ever-changing community. The present committee, due to their good business management, have built shops adjacent to the hall. These shops will help finance the next stage of their plan, which is to develop the site even further by providing our community with a sloped floor 200-seat theatre with modern toilets and dressing rooms adjacent to the existing hall. This plan will be at no cost to the ratepayers and will be something the community will be proud of for generations to come. Each of us have our own stories to share about what this place means to us, and we thank past and present committees of this wonderful facility for their dedication, foresight and hard work. Twyford Hall, proud of its past and excited about its future. The heart of our community for generations to come.